So during the process, or I would say this was more towards the end of our process, because sometimes we process things a little delayed. I mean, I expressed, in when the podcast with your dad, you're kind of going express, it's like, okay, boom, to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. You don't have a lot of time to process and think about things so much. So sometimes later is when you're like, oh, wait a second, why did this work out this way? Like for me, for a moment, I did feel depressed, and it wasn't in the middle of the treatment that I was feeling. It was kind of later. It kind of fell upon me. And I know for you had expressed towards the end of my treatment that you felt excluded in some of the process.
Yeah.
Tell me how that was for you, and what would you advise us to have done differently that someone else can learn from?
Yeah. I think it did kind of start in the beginning because I understood that getting all your tests done and beforehand, before telling us, in that process, I kind of found out that other people knew before me, and that was kind of hurtful in a way, because I had went to go tell some people, and they were like, yeah, we knew. And
not the best choice on their part, but go ahead.
Yeah. And just knowing that other people knew before I did, I guess, being that I was 20 years old, I thought, and we're so close, we tell each other everything. I kind of felt like, man, I should have known before these other people knew.
Yeah.
So yeah, towards the end of your chemotherapy, there were some options that the doctors provided for you, different steps you could take now moving forward, with surgery, with radiation, and I just felt very excluded from all of that. Not that, you guys had made all the decisions, and then it was kind of like, hey, this is what's happening. And not that I was gonna, be like making decisions for you and for Poppy, but I just felt like I didn't know what was going on. It would be like, next week I'm doing this, and it just kind of felt all thrust upon me, rather than, hey, these were discussed, and just like, hey, these are some of the options that the doctors gave us. I just felt very out of the loop. And I guess, I'm the age that I was at, being 20 and feeling like we talked about everything. It felt like these were things that, you were keeping from me in a way. And I understood that part of it was, you guys are just going through this and you need to make decisions, and also kind of trying to protect from hearing all the details, right? But I felt like I was at a point that I could be part of these discussions. And, I understand I wasn't 10 years old. I wasn't 13. So I just felt like, why was this so different from everything else that we would always talk about things? Or felt kind of disconnected from you at that point, because it felt like, not that, I guess that you were keeping things from me in a way. But it's like, I didn't want to be guarded and protected like a child. I wanted to be with you and be there. I wanted to be present. And so it also made me feel like I didn't get the opportunity to be there for you, because I wasn't being included in anything. I felt like even if people asked me questions, I couldn't even answer them, because nobody was telling me what was really happening until it was happening. So for me, I can't say what will be best for each individual, right? But I can just speak from my personal experience with it. I wish that, since I was 20 years old, I wish that I was just talked about more things more frankly, you know, and just laying things out on the table for me. I feel like it would have helped me just be like understand things more, and I would have rather known more about the process than less. Just to get that opportunity to discuss with you and be there for you. I felt like, you know, you really leaned on Papi, and rightfully so. And I just felt like I couldn't be there for you because you weren't allowing me to in that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hearing it now and thinking about it, I think if I had the opportunity to go back, I would have done it differently. But at the moment, first of all, that transition from child to you becoming an adult, you're the oldest. So,
yeah,
you know, it was our first transition, and you're still kind of battling with their babies, but they're really not. But in my mind, you know, it's still my baby. I want to protect her. I want to keep her heart protected from this experience. Again, thinking back at, I'm the one that's supposed to be there for you guys. I'm the one that's supposed to be caring for you guys, taking care of you guys. It was hard for me for it to be in reverse, for you to be the one caring for me. So it was more of a protection thing than anything else. We are very close, and of course, you know, I would want you to be part of everything, but it was more of a protection. And understanding now, yes, 20 it's a good age. And yes, I think we could have done things differently. So as a mom, you know, of course, like you said, every situation is different.
Yeah.
But as a mom, I would advise another mom to be a little bit more transparent with the child, and believe that they're adults and they can handle it, and pray on it for them. But yeah, I would definitely, if I could, would have done it that way, a little more different.
Because I think either way, it's
still
a horrible
You're
situation.
Still in a painful situation.
You're still in a painful situation. You're still seeing your mom be sick and not herself physically and even mentally, because it weighs on you. So it's already a hard situation. I think explaining what's happening is, overall, I see it as a benefit to the children, because then at least they have a little more understanding.
Right.
Rather than mommy's going through this and I don't really know everything that's happening. And it's not that we have to disclose everything, but at least some more explanations, some more talking through things, because communication helps just ease the mind, because then if not, you're having 50 questions in your head without hearing from your parents on what's actually happening or what's actually going to be taking place, and your thought process through it all. So that made it harder at the end.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Truth does bring clarity. You know, like even for us, getting the diagnosis to getting the full picture of what was going on with me, brought a little bit of ease in knowing that, okay, oh, you have cancer. Well, do I only have it in my breast? Did it spread? You know, I hadn't, there was no idea of the future. And obviously the worst thoughts run through your mind until you gain more information and gain clarity. Exactly. So it does make a lot of sense at the moment. All right, so I want to end with this question. What can you speak into the life of a teen or a young adult facing this with a parent? It doesn't have to be breast cancer, but facing a health crisis with one of their parents. Yeah.
Being a teen / young adult is already difficult in its own. Trying to become a person and find your identity in Christ. So with that, I would say for any teen, young adult going through this, to really lean on the Lord, to really dig deeper into their faith and building that trust with the Lord, and allowing this experience to kind of, I think to having a parent in a health crisis really helps you have more selflessness, and have that perspective of really wanting to serve somebody else other than yourself. Mm-hmm. And when you're a teen and young adult, you're really thinking about yourself a lot. And when your parent goes through that, I would say to lean into that, mm-hmm. to lean into that mm-hmm. servant's heart, mm-hmm. To think about yourself less and to think about someone else more is a great thing to build. Mm-hmm. I would say too, to really lean into gratitude. I wanted to read this from Psalm 9:1. I will give thanks to the Lord with my whole heart. I will recount all of your wonderful deeds. I will be glad and exult in you. I will sing praise to your name, O Most High. So even in the midst of that crisis, even in the midst of your anxiety, your sadness, your grief, to really see what good the Lord has in your life, and what you do have in your life, and what good has been done. So that can kind of take you out of that grief and really just shift the perspective of your situation, and shift your heart and how your heart is viewing what's happening mm-hmm. around you. Because there's so many things to be grateful for, and in those times it's really hard to kind of look at that, because all you mm-hmm. see is the bad that's overcoming your mind and your heart. Mm-hmm. So to thank the Lord for having a mom, mm-hmm. And in that time, just thanking the Lord that, you were getting through it. Mm-hmm. Even though it was hard, it was difficult to see you like that, to see you weak when I've never seen you like that before. Even just to see you without hair, I know that mattered to you, too. I think as women, our hair means a lot, and that can't be, it's not something that's silly. It's something that we feel. And so even seeing you in that way was hard and difficult, but then I could be grateful for modern medicine that's helping you get through this. Even though it took a lot. It took a lot of your energy. It took a lot from your body at the time, but we had a family that was whole and complete and there, and we had people mm-hmm. who were there, and we had a good God who was leading us the whole way. So looking to gratitude helps shift that perspective. And we had moments where me and the kids, in the pandemic, were able to really connect as siblings too, making fun moments in the isolation when we made our home into a movie theater, or we did a slip and slide in the backyard. We did have good moments together as a family in that time too, despite the darkness surrounding everything.
Yeah, we were able to see later. Like, I started the book, what was your favorite part of the pandemic, that I couldn't answer it. And later I could find an answer. And I think now we can find an answer, right? All that you're speaking on, being surrounded with each other, people loving on us, even if it was from a distance, our extended family constantly checking on us and loving on us, our church family constantly checking on us and loving on us, and having more appreciation for each other, right? For our family, for what God has given us, because we're each a gift from God for each other, right? And in all things, we can see the goodness of God.